Where do I begin with this story? So I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all know murder drones, right? You know, Uzi and a whole pile of them. But what if I told you that something really bad happened 19 years after the Murder Drones series? But let's go back in time to the past for a minute, right? When Error 606 happened on Earth, two men stared each other down. After John Elliott saw his niece get killed by Jenna J, whatever the fuck it is. He went to go see if the wife was okay, except he saw his older brother, stab his own wife in the back. James actually stabbed his own wife in the back. After seeing this, James Elliott started saying, "Speechless, huh? The first part of the plan is already complete. You can't stop me, John. Nobody can." But that's whenever John saw Nate in behind him. So John took the ability, shot James right into N, making N kill him instantly. While this was happening, John got in his Mustang and drove off to a escape pod. Now that that's cleared, let's go to the future after episode 8, 19 years later. Part 2. Uzi was sleeping, probably to get that dread feeling away from a break from her friends. Uzi ugged and groaned and would happily greet Uzi after waking up and said, Uzi would smile at him. Uzi would say, "Hey, Uzi, did you know that Edward or Bo Locker is hosting a hack challenge with Renee, his lover?" Now, we'll get onto those two in tape 2. For now, this is tape 1. Nate said to Uzi as a question, "Oh, really?" Uzi ran to Edward B. Bo's dorm after hearing this. Meanwhile, after Uzi ran to his dorm, two door drones named Ron and Sammy saw something in the sky. Like it was turning reddish, kind of like in episode 7. And then they saw some sort of glitch coming from it. So they decided to lock down the whole place down. Ron, with a panic, screamed as he felt a pain in his head. Sammy felt it too, but he was more in a panic. He pulled the trigger for the bunker to go in lockdown. As this was happening, Uzi blacks out 30 minutes later. After that, everything just goes dark. Everything just screams. Everything. Electrical noises. All of it. Uzi then hears Uzi could only hear screaming. She thought she heard a scream of V, but it goes quiet afterward. After this, she wakes up wondering what happened. Sin telling her finally, "You're up, sleepyhead," said to Uzi with a plain voice. Uzi, with confusion, says, "What happened? Why is the power out? And why is there parts everywhere?" And Uzi froze cold after hearing something like someone or something was eating. Uzi peeked around the corner and was horrified. She saw worker drones with grins eating other worker drones. It was terrifying. Uzi then decided to actually just sneak around. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know how to approach this. It wasn't long till Uzi was running down a hall trying to find Ren, Ruby, or even... She didn't want to bring her up. She already knew what happened to Linka, but she just ran into more dead drones, or erred workers, or controlled. You should fall as their prey. Sin kept teasing Uzi about to be their prey or something. It was like she was in on this. It was like this was part of the plan. Until Uzi found a hiding spot in her room. But then she bumps into Thad in there holding a metal pipe. They were actually really relieved to see each other. In a whisper, Uzi said, "What's going on?" Thad just told her to be quiet, and he said, "I don't know. I was hanging around, then suddenly the lockdown alarms went off, and suddenly worker drones and this error code 606 started eating and killing others." He then said he saw some sort of like blue SD drone, but he didn't know. He thought he was going crazy. However, with close inspection toward it, he knows he was not going crazy whenever he heard electric noises and then a shocking noise. Afterward, he heard a harpoon go off, which is probably why he hid. And after this, he saw others killing each other for some reason, except the ones that were killing the others had this error on them called 606, or known as the human purge error. But why is it attacking the workers is what he thought. Thad and Uzi stood together walking and talking consciously of the halls and screams, "Wait," Uzi said to Thad in a panic whisper. "What is it?" Oh, Thad saw what Uzi was seeing. It looked like Lizzie, but a terrifying controlled version of her. From Arrow 606 got to her and it was controlling her. Of her, she was just standing there waiting, like if predators would wait for prey, or the hunter would wait for prey. Wanted them to move. "Run," Dad screamed. The two ran as Uzi was using her silver, but the silver wouldn't work. For some reason, it would just not work. Uzi was panicking, and Dad knew why. Uzi and Thad ran from the error to Lizzie. Uzi was trying to use her solver ability, but nothing. "My solver isn't working," Uzi said with anger and confusion. Thad suddenly stops running and hits the error to Lizzie with the metal pipe. However, this controlled 606 version of Lizzie catches it with a lot of strength. Thad was shocked that this thing were strong. Arrow 606. Lizzie disarms Thad and then goes for his legs. Uzi just froze in fear. "Run, you idiot, run," Thad yelled, getting Uzi to snap out of it, breaking into. Uzi was running, breaking into tears, running back to her dorm just in time, locking it behind her. Uzi then tries to find her parents or anybody that can help her, but nobody. She then sees a note that says, "Uzi, if you're alive, get to the safe zone area now." Uzi needed to prepare. Uzi said in a brave, scared voice, and I could tell why. "You would not make it there alive," Sin said to Uzi. Uzi, with a frustrating voice, said, "Shut up." Uzi's solar builder started working again. Uzi grinned, grabbing her mother's pickaxe and a backpack, well, full of resources to survive. Okay, here we go. Meanwhile, In was with the other survivors in the safe area. He was more worried about V and Uzi and his friends. He could care less about Jay or Jenna. He had enough. He told everyone he was going to go find Uzi and V, or even Jay if she was still alive. Minutes later, after Uzi killed a few of the Era 606 worker drones or controlled, sure, they were stronger than her solver, but she managed to take them down. Or tried. She still felt guilty for not helping Thad. Then, out of nowhere, Uzi sees a silhouette in the distance. She thinks it's In. She calls out for him. However, this was not in. It was SDI controlled. She never seen this thing before. Uzi, with a sudden voice, said, "You are not in." And then, as soon as I was about to kill her, a monster version of V tackles I and kills him. After the spider-looking version of V kills I, she goes for Uzi, which Uzi running for her life with Sin or Kendi taunting her, saying that she's not going to survive. However, Uzi manages to slide through a closing blast door, blocking the monster, making her scream, terrifying Uzi. However, minutes later, while Uzi was running down the hall, she bumps into Jay, Jenna, with them about to argue or talk crap about each other. However, before they can actually say where the heck everything was going on, they see something blue and white, like electricity, coming down the hallway. Or in this case, something more that started all this. Or maybe another controlled SD drone. They thought it was in, but however, once it came down the hallway, they saw it was blue and white. Uzi then noticed that was not going crazy, seeing what that meant, making her freeze in fear. She readies her pickaxe and tells Jay that they need to actually work together to kill this thing. Jay agrees, only because she doesn't want to die for the 5th time. The blue and white rushed at Jay, but thanks to Jay's fast ability, she counters this, blasting Z in the back, making him fall down, acting dead. When Jay thinks she has won, she starts taunting Z as he is dead. However, Z shoots a harpoon through her screen, making her regen stun, meaning she can't heal. After Uzi saw this, she tries to go help, swinging the pickaxe at Z, but Z, however, with a quick motion, has a chainsaw hand and breaks the pickaxe in half, making Uzi completely terrified, thinking that she is hopeless. Uzi then tries to use Silver, but due to the quickness of Z, he stabs her with his stinger and starts zapping a whole pile of voltage, shocking her. Uzi was screaming in pain. Then Z grabs Uzi, about to go for the kill, until a flash of yellow light tackles the blue and white controlled SD drone. Uzi, in pain, coughing up oil from the high voltage, gets up and checks on Jay. Even though they are enemies, I'm pretty sure that doesn't matter at this point. "Hey Jay, you alive?" Uzi said. Jay's screen was not healing, so Uzi covered the wound with a cloth. Meanwhile, Nate and Z were fighting down the hallway. Flashes of blue, white, and yellow could be seen. Although Z was pretty good at combat and also good at killing Plesio Sentinels, he was also very ability for this kind of fight. However, due to the shocking, In was actually shock immunity due to his build back in the company, which Z was not aware of this, making In have the strength to knock out Z. However, In feeling guilty carries Z back to the group, to the others, saying, "Guys, the controlled can be freed." Jay knew where this was going. She stood up bringing a safe area with innocent worker drones was crazy, she quickly says. "And you are sure this will work?" As then Jay says, "You're sure this will work?" Nate looks at Uzi and Jay and says, "Yes, It will. Come on. The three make their way to the safe area carrying Z with them. End of tape 1. Now that was tape 1, guys, of Dead Drones. And if you want me to keep going on with this series, let me know down in the comments. Dang, this was a long one, not gonna lie. Anyways, I'll see y'all in the next tape. Peace out.